joining us. This is News 360 from the News Hub here in Accra. I am Misa Moni. And
my name is Nanekia Mensah Brampa. Ahead in the headlines tonight.
The headlines is brought to you by Deluxe Paint, Heaven Black Mosquito Coil and Spray,
Premier Health Insurance, Calipo, and Nido Fortigro. Your love, their future.
Top of the bulletin, there's our initial investigations by Council for Scientific and Industrial Research (CSIR) show low level of oxygen in water caused mass death of tilapia at Isuchari.
And in the news, voting underway to elect national youth and women organizers of the National Democratic Congress.
Later on Mission tonight, we tell you more about high rate of pupils' absenteeism at Basarikura in Bandai district of Northern Region.
Also, Ashanti Regional Domestic Violence and Victim Support Unit rescued a 15-year-old JHS pupil from a forced marriage.
And on the foreign front, multiple casualties at a synagogue in U.S. after a gunman opened fire during a service on Saturday. Alright, so we have the detail of these as well as the latest in sports. The next hour also we are live on DSTV channel 279, Facebook, it's TV3 Ghana.
Right, thank you very much, Nanekia Mensah Brampa. And we begin in the Ashanti region where the Domestic Violence and Victim Support Unit has rescued a 15-year-old junior high school pupil from a forced marriage. The officials stormed the house of the victim at Ebrim in the Kwabre East District to end the marriage process Saturday afternoon after a tip-off by some residents. Here's a report by Ibrahim Abubakar.
The victim, Fulera, is the first child of her parents. She is a student of Makaz Islamic Primary School in Aburim. Fulera is due to write her basic education certificate examination in 2019. However, her parents have decided to cut short her education by giving her out in marriage. Upon a tip-off, the Ashanti Regional Dofsu swiftly intervened to stop the marriage ceremony, which is scheduled on Sunday, October 28, 2018. Officials from Dofsu stormed the house of the victim to rescue her. Mother of the 15-year-old could not hold back her tears as the police left with her daughter. Father of the victim, who spoke to TV3 off camera, says he intended marrying off his daughter because he has no money to cater for her needs. He has since been invited by the police to assist in investigations.
Onto education now, and close to 90% of pupils of the Muruchuso DA Basic School in the Bono Ahafo region lie on the bare floor to read and write due to limited infrastructure. Some teachers in the school are forced to share a single detached room due to accommodation challenges. And Johnson Kofi Techi has more.
Established in 1989, the Murukusu DA Primary School has a population of 325 pupils with 12 dual desks. Primary 3 pupils of the school sit on the bare floor to read and write, whilst Primary 1 and 2 pupils lie on their belly to write. This, school authorities say, make teaching and learning discomforting. Head teacher of the school, Bernard Mensah, says half of their population is allowed to play outside while they engage the other half. KG 1 and 2 pupils study at a nearby Roman Catholic church, which is also not conducive for teaching and learning. In spite of their challenges, the KG teachers and their pupils enjoy every bit of their lessons. The school also lacks teaching and learning materials.
We don't have textbooks in the school, especially English, Maths and Science. So I've managed to buy a copy each for the teachers to use to teach the classes.
4 newly posted teachers are compelled to share a room due to accommodation challenges.
Teachers don't have accommodation in the village. We are riding on motor bicycles from Atebu to this place, which is about 21 kilometers far.
The head teacher of the school also bemoaned the poor state of roads in the community.
And let's move further up north to the Mion District Assembly, where there is a warning to teachers to be in school, even in the face of heavy rains and poor road network. Teachers who absent themselves from school are liable for sanctions. The District Assembly contends the move is to reduce teacher absenteeism in the district.
The district can boast of quite a good number of basic schools, and children here have passion for education. However, District Chief Executive Hassim Mohammed is not impressed with standards. The rainy season impacts negatively on academic activities. With rivers crisscrossing each other in the district, most areas are hard to reach during the rainy season. Rivers overflow its boundaries and roads become more trouble. Most teachers, therefore, take advantage of the situation to stay away from school. A clear instance is the Budalana Primary School, where teachers had not shown up 3 weeks after school had reopened. School has not reopened here, so teachers are yet to report to school. But the DCE, Mohammed Hassim, says the practice must stop.
The educational authorities have been moving around for the past few days, trying to see how best they can make sure that all teachers are at post. It may not work immediately, but they have to ensure that once schools have reopened, teachers posted to the hinterland should try as much as possible within these difficulties to reach the various places.
I'm encouraging the communities, that is the stakeholders, assemblymen, chiefs and opinion leaders to come together and build at least one room in that community this year to house a teacher or to house a number of teachers. The following year they contribute and add one. I'm envisaging that with this, by 6 years time, every school would have accommodation enough for the teachers.
The DCE, Hassim, has a vision to improve on education standards in the districts.
Right, so now we're looking at tertiary education, precisely matters bordering on the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology. The latest development is that university lecturers and educational workers have been offered a seat on the school's interim council after their exclusion sparked a strike. Now, a statement by the Education Ministry said the inclusion of UTAG and TEWU is to further enhance stakeholder involvement. University Teachers Association of Ghana, UTAG, and the Teachers and Educational Workers Union, TEWU, had expressed shock at government's decision to dissolve the university's governing council after a student protest turned violent, leading to the shutdown of the school Tuesday.
Now let's turn our attention to some human interest story, or let's say some financial literacy issues. In the face of collapse of some saving and loans institutions, sections of the Ghanaian populace have resorted to the piggy banking system. Our reporter Abna Nyamiche looks at how the piggy boxes, popularly called Susu boxes, have become the safest banking system for the business community and companies, as well as elites in Accra.
Invented during the Stone Age, and one might think they have entirely faded off in an era where conventional banking systems are placed at the doorsteps of everyone. Against the odds, the long-aged banking system, piggy banks, popularly called Susu box, have survived through generations and still in use. The coin container was used by many, including children, but has grown to be the most convenient banking system for many. They say their choice is as a result of the collapse of most savings and loans companies and banks.
Last time I go and make treasury bill. When I'm going to remove the treasury bill, they said I should bring a letter before they give me the money. But if I have susu box, when I save in the box, if I ready to remove the money, I can open the box and remove my money.
Meet young entrepreneur Kojo Dego, who has now ventured into the manufacturing of local susu boxes because it is becoming lucrative. He's adding a touch to the wooden susu box into a more appealing container using paper cones. This is his 8th year in the susu box making business.
I was a cobbler, but I later came across some disposed cones and decided to use them for susu box. And now the business is booming.
Kojo Dego is not alone in the susu box making business. Several men here at the Malamata market are also into the business.
Where we are working is not good. We have no storage facility, and so when it rains, our cones get wet. We need government support.
Some are still undergoing training under Kojo Dego to have their own businesses. The boxes, in different shapes and sizes, offer most consumers with choices. Naomi Sewo is a retailer at the Mokola market in Accra.
Sometimes you can sell 50 Ghana, 60 Ghana a day for the box. This small one is 1 cedi for one, but this one is 5 cedis. But the trunk is 10 cedi. But they normally don't buy the trunk, but the 1 cedi and the 2 cedis go faster.
Many say they were able to gather funds to embark on projects such as paying bills, school fees, and even housing projects. With the happenings on the banking front, it would take a lot more efforts from the Bank of Ghana to revamp people's confidence and interest in the banks as susu boxes take over.
And the exciting part of having a susu box is when you have a lot of coins scattered in the house, you just pick it and put it. Well, what are your experiences? You can share with us on Facebook. It's TV3 Ghana. Let's now talk about bitter cola trade. And the trade and consumption of bitter cola is on the rise in the Ashanti region and other parts of the country. Several health benefits have been ascribed to the increase in patronage, and the most popular being its aphrodisiac property and efficacy to prevent eye diseases. In this report, Ibrahim Abubakar finds out the real nutritional benefits of consuming bitter cola.
Bitter cola is grown in the tropical moist lowland forest. The fruit is cultivated in only 7 countries across Africa, including Ghana, Nigeria, Guinea, and Benin. In Ghana, the cola is grown on large scale in the 3 regions of the north. They come in 2 species and colors of black and golden brown with some nutritional benefits. In Kumasi, retailers of bitter cola get supplies from their Sawase markets where the wholesalers abound. The high demand for the fruit has led to its shortage in the country. Wholesalers now have to import it from neighboring Nigeria and Cote d'Ivoire. This has led to price increase of the commodity. This bucket of cola, which used to sell at 170 cedis early this year, now goes for between 400 and 500 cedis. Secretary of the Cola Traders Association in Ashanti region, Alhaji Isa Adamu, says the business is lucrative. He confirmed the fruit is in high demand due to its health benefits.
If government can encourage for agric, for research, and pumping some money, they can try and develop it.
Jaffa Abdul Rahman is a wholesaler of bitter cola.
6 to 7 years, and there are any improvements.
Patronage shot up in 2012 when Ghanaians realized its benefits.
Bitter cola is mostly hawked along major streets within the Kumasi metropolis, selling between 2 and 20 cedis. Some retailers also place the fruits on tables and sell by the roadside. Abanga Yusuf says he makes a profit of 100 cedis by selling a bucket of bitter cola. Patrons of bitter cola are driven by diverse interest. The most pronounced is the claim that the cola boosts sexual drive. Alhaji Abdul Rahman Mumuni says he takes 2 every day for its medicinal purposes.
I have many problems about sickness, pressure, head, and all your joints. So if you take this one, it's okay for you.
Some of the health benefits of bitter cola have been corroborated by Michael Rafi Akenteng Anan, a dietitian at the Komfa Noche Teaching Hospital.
It's also got good amount of vitamin A, E, and C, as well as B1, B2, B3. Vitamin A in the bitter cola is helping with reduction in glaucoma. When it comes to sexual weaknesses, in terms of the libido levels and then sexual dysfunction too, it's also proven or is showing that it also helps because of the presence of vitamin E in the bitter cola.
He, however, cautions against excess consumption of bitter cola. The dietitian called on the country to tap into the full health and economic benefits of bitter cola.
So true. The houses call it Mijinguru. I have some in my car now. You're watching News 360, and let's do some other stories. Investigations by the Council for Scientific and Industrial Research show low level of oxygen in water cause mass deaths of tilapia at Isuchari in the Greater Accra region. The institute also explained the shoals of fish which were at the Chinese fish farm were imported into the country.
Recently, 18,000 tons of unwholesome Chinese fish were destroyed at the Sichuari in the Shai Osudoku district. It is believed the fish which could not survive on the farm is genetically modified. Investigations by the Council for Scientific and Industrial Research has revealed tilapia found at the Chinese Fujian company at Isuchari was as a result of low level of oxygen in the water.
Our results, the water quality results from Water Research Institute, we have some indication that you had some low level of oxygen that could have also exacerbated the situation. But we still need to find out whether causative organisms were equally responsible, and so we should still wait for those results to come in.
The council said the shoals of fish which were at the Chinese fish farm were imported into the country.
The Water Research Institute have also gone to pick some of the samples, and we have also analyzed that, and it also gave indication that it is of Asian origin, different from the Volta strain tilapias. And so that gives some preliminary conclusions or preliminary information that yes, the fishes that they were capturing are from Asian origin.
At the CSIR 60th anniversary, the chairman for the Scientific Research Institute, Professor Robert Kingsford Adabo, stressed the need for government to invest in research works to ensure rapid development.
We missed the Industrial Revolution as a people. We have a chance to take hold of the technological revolution, and it is now. So our stakeholders, our people, our governments should take CSIR very seriously, because they can help us move from people whose products are just raw without any added value to products that have value and can fetch us more money, give employment.
The 60th anniversary fundraising dinner was aimed at raising funds for improving the research in the country.
In more news tonight, the Okankwe South Municipal Assembly has warned the state developer JO Properties to discontinue construction of houses along the Achimota drainage. The assembly claimed construction of buildings along the drainage poses danger to would-be occupants.
The Okankwe South Municipal Assembly, carved out of the Accra Metropolitan Assembly a few months ago, has vowed to ensure sanity in the manner buildings are put up in the municipality. After assuming office nearly 3 months ago, the Municipal Chief Executive Boylai has embarked on an inspection exercise together with a team from NADMO, the military and urban roads, to check indiscriminate siting of buildings in the area. The landlord of this building here at Tesano refused to heed to several warnings to discontinue with construction.
We've given them the last dates for 7th December. Now, if we come by 7th December and 17th December and they have not vacated, then we have to take a decision, maybe to come and clear them from the room or whatever.
The team moved to the Chimota Old Lorry Station to inspect this abandoned building turned into a refuse dump and an abode for squatters. The team inspected some flood-prone drains in Achimota. Here at the Achimota Zoom Park, the team pulled down some structures and warned the estate developer JL Properties to discontinue construction of buildings along the main drains and refuse sites since they do not have permit.
Not one single permit on all these buildings you are seeing here. So I brought you here for you to see for yourself what is happening in our country. And so that tomorrow if I come and I'm taking action, you, the press, will come with me together, then we can do something together.
Owners of the property denied suggestions they had committed an illegality and threatened to petition government over the conduct of the assembly.
If our permit situation has not been finalized, don't you think that you have to sit down with us and show us the way around how to move it forward? A new municipality with no funds. President says that everybody improve your IGF. Don't you feel that you have to talk to people like us? We are employing over 400 odd people. Don't you want to encourage us?
I've asked him to stop that one. And I've asked my engineers to go in. The one along the river. As for that one, there is no compromise on that one. We can talk about his permit issue and all that. But as for that one along the river, those ones, it will go. He has to remove them or will come and remove them for him.
The municipal chief executive maintained the assembly will pull down structures along the drainage to ensure the safety of the public.
Now let's turn our attention to some trending political issues on NEWS360 tonight. Minority leader and former National Youth Organizer of the opposition NDC, Haruna Idrisu, is urging President Akufo-Addo to take his hands off academic institutions in the country and respect the tenets of the 1992 Constitution. The Tamale South Member of Parliament, speaking at the 9th National Delegates Conference to elect women and youth organizers for the party, said the president must restore the mandate of the dissolved KNUST Governing Council.
The Church of Pentecost Center in Gomoafete is hosting the over 2,000 delegates seeking to elect the National Youth Organizer and his deputy, the National Women's Organizer and her deputy. 27 candidates in all are seeking for the mandate to lead the party. As expected, the newly outlawed vigilante group of the NDC, the Hawks, were heavily represented. Delayed for 3 hours, the conference finally started with a charged atmosphere as the youth of the NDC gave a clear indication they are poised for 2020. This sets the tone and threw the conference into some frenzy.
And I know you're going to elect for yourselves capable leaders who will still keep you in opposition. I would also take this opportunity to congratulate and salute our gallant youth organizers who took advantage of NAPCO.
The outgoing National Women's Organizer, who is seeking re-election, Hajia Zainab Joyce Mahama, accounting for her stewardship, was clear on her achievement. An opportunity she saw to reiterate why she must be re-elected. For the outgoing National Youth Organizer, Sidi Abubakar, this were his achievements as the leader of the youth in the NDC.
I put up a very solid strategy and program in place. And right now, I can tell you for a fact that the constituency youth organizers that we have elected in the 275 constituencies, I can see almost 80% to 85% of the youth organizers are people who are literate, well educated. Some were having even qualification as far as masters.
Minority leader Haruna Idrisu used the platform to throw a jab at the government.
Let me take this opportunity to request President Nana Addo Dankwa that he should not extend his hand to undermine academic freedom in our university institutions, and that his decision to dissolve the Council of the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology is not only a threat to academic freedom, but undermine the respectability of the management of the institution. There are better ways to manage this, and he can manage it better than what he is doing.
On the call by the Vice President for the NDC to show a single social intervention program they have done, Haruna Idrisu had this to say.
Let me remind Dr. Bawumia and the New Patriotic Party, let any of them define for me what constitutes social infrastructure, which does not include the e-blocks the NDC and President Mahama built, and which does not include the regional hospitals, whether in Greater Accra, in the Upper West or Upper East region, that expanded access to healthcare, improved maternal and infant mortality. If those are not social interventions, we are begging for a better definition of social intervention from them.
Komla Kluche, TV3 News, Gomuafe.
Also, let's still stay at the conference, and the Director of International Affairs of the party, Kofi Atto, and former National Youth Organizer, Ludwig Kloje, expressed confidence the new crop of leaders will bring some new spirit of enthusiasm into the party as they prepare for the 2020 elections.
You can see that all the contestants are competent people. They are all good people, and we are going to select one, and the rest will support. And our target is not here, but the target is to win 2020. So whoever will be selected here is going to lace his boots and work hard so that we can unseat the ruling government in 2020. And we know how to do the work. They know how to oppose, they don't know how to rule.
Well, I expect that leaders will be elected that will carry us to 2020. You know, I attended a debate between the youth organizers, and I can assure you, whoever gets elected will carry us very far.
Compared to the NPP's youth wing, for instance, which has Nanabi as, or Henry Nanabuachi as its youth organizer, do you think that any of these three persons can match him?
Look at Pablo Opariado, look at Broja Jemfi, look at, they are all distinguished youth mobilizers from their record as young people, student leaders, district chief executive, youth organizers and others. And I think that when it comes to youth mobilization, it's not about the noise on radio or on television, but it's about how you get to the grassroots, how you interact with the youth, how you are able to put them together, talk to them, let them understand the vision for the party and the youth and the benefit that comes out of it. And so I think that we have good materials, and I can believe you me, any of these three that wins will match Nanabuachi A to Z.
All right, so let's get to the conference grounds now and speak to Winston Amwa. Winston is our correspondent at the NDC National Delegates Conference, the 9th edition at Gomafete. Winston, good evening and thank you for joining us.
Good evening, Isa.
Right. Winston, we understand voting has ended and counting underway. How did the whole process go?
Well, the whole process, I can say, has been smooth so far. Voting ended about 45 minutes ago, and so counting has begun. The booths are in two, that's the northern sector and the southern sector. And as we speak, counting is ongoing. We're waiting patiently. I have seen some of, the agents also monitoring, and the candidates, many of whom have left the building as we speak, waiting on the agents to call them and tell them whether they have won or not. So that's where we are now. I see some of the, delegates very expectant. You speak to them, those who are supporting, for instance, Wanda Madilo are optimistic he's going to win. Those who are supporting George Opariada are also optimistic he would win. as well as those supporting Yabojaji, also optimistic that he would win. When it comes to the women's organizer, the general consensus looks like it would be Hannah Bisu, but the youth organizership position is very close to call at this moment. Isa.
Within some point of interest, we understand the NDC vigilante group, the Hawks, were present, of course, hawking around to see if things are going well. How did they conduct themselves?
Well, I think they conducted themselves very well. I saw that they had a few spin with Peter Bubakar because they didn't know he was a youth organizer of the NDC. He had to introduce himself and tell them he was a youth organizer before he was allowed in. But generally, there hasn't been any issue with the Hawks. I have also seen Lions, some youth wearing shirts with inscriptions, the Lions. So I think that we have seen another group here today, that's the Lions. But on the whole, security has been. There was a police presence here, which I'm sure that everything went on as expected.
I'm sure you'll be able to find out later on where the Lions are come from. If they are from a separate region, we'll get to know. Thank you, Winston, for bringing us up to date with the National NDC Delegates Conference, the 9th edition from Goma Fete. You're on News 360, and let's take a look at what's still to come. We'll tell you more about high rate of pupils' absenteeism at Basari Kura in the Pandai district of the Northern Region in Mission.
And coming up on the foreign front, multiple casualties at a synagogue in US after a gunman opened fire during his service on Saturday.
We'll return shortly with some more. Stay with us.
This is News 360. Time for Mission Now, supported by Star Ghana with funding from Danida UK Aid and the European Union. Let's look at updates on education from the Northern Region, and pupils at Basari Kura in the Pandai district of the Northern Region do not often go to school, and parents attributed the worrying situation to teacher absenteeism.
Basari Kura is one of the neglected hinterland communities in the Pandai district. Farming is their main source of livelihood. The community, which is inhabited by some 400 people, also has a school. However, quality education is not guaranteed because teachers deployed by the Ghana Education Service to teach do not regularly attend school. Parents here put up a 3-unit march structure to accommodate classes 1 to 6 pupils, owing to their interest for education. But children of school-going age still roam in the community. Classrooms have been abandoned as goat excreta is visible everywhere. We were told school has not been in session for about 3 days.
A teacher for no teacher for no a being per school no ba say a ben tia neka.
Teachers posted to this community do not often come to school because they claim they are not being paid. The school has large enrollment, but it has been in a poor state.
Chief of the community, Bakuba Anaba, who is also the chairman of the Parents Teacher Association, is worried efforts to compel the teachers to be punctual have failed, claiming they are not being paid.
Yaka aya meeting ayo mummi meeting sa some de obaka ne say yentua no ka.
The community has engaged the teachers in several meetings, but they show no commitment to teach, and it is affecting the pupils.
But District Chief Executive for Pandai, Emmanuel Atta Tasablata, is promising he would address the challenge.
What we have observed is that some of them, if you put them, the communities that they are coming from, because they are making this small farming, their interests lie on the farming more than teaching. So we want to swap them and monitor.
Family planning is not an option in this community. The chief of the community, for instance, has 32 children with 4 women, but only 21 of the children were at home when the mission team visited. He has set a target of giving birth to 40 children. His elderly children work on his farms while he educates the younger ones. On some occasions, he uses them for entertainment. He justified why he wants to give birth to 40 children.
I want to give birth to 40 children because I will be able to provide their needs.
At Basari Kura, people take pride in giving birth to many children. In the midst of poverty and hardship, his elderly son, Bakuba Bula, believes taking after his father is a way to maintain the family's legacy.
If my father gives birth to 50, I will also give birth to 50. If he gives birth to 100, I will also do same because he has been able to cater for all his 4 wives and numerous children. So I feel I should also do same.
His sisters are married off at tender ages. Bukuba Anaba has already married off his 16-year-old daughter. This practice is rife at Basari Kura, hence efforts would be required to curtail it.
Interesting developments there from Basari Kura. Let's move to some other areas still in the Kwandai district, and pupils of the Blajai DA primary school in that district of the northern region are compelled to bring firewood from home before they benefit from the school feeding program. Now, the caterers say they are not aware they are supposed to provide water and firewood themselves.
This is how a new week begins at the Blajai Basic School. At about 7:30 a.m., many of the pupils had reported to school in their numbers, but only 2 teachers are reported to school. The Blajai school serves about 4 communities and has increased enrollment because it is a beneficiary of the school feeding program. However, pupils are made to bring firewood and water to school each day before meals are prepared and served. This has been the practice over the last 1 year that the school was enrolled onto the school feeding program. The health of the pupils has been compromised as containers used to carry the water are not hygienic. Not all water brought are clean, but no inspection is done before they are used for preparing the meals. Water left after preparing the meals is what the entire school depends on when thirsty. Pupils do not bring cups to school, and so they drink from these gallons. There are 2 polytanks in the school, but authorities say they have not been repaired after developing faults about 2 years ago. The assistant head teacher of the school said the practice of pupils bringing firewood to school is nothing new.
Frankly speaking, for the feeding program, this time the way they do it, they say it's different from what they were doing previously. So we didn't want to go deep into this feeding program, or maybe we might lose it.
He also indicated teachers periodically educate the pupils to observe personal hygiene.
As for the water, always at assembly ground, we tell them when you are bringing the water, make sure that the container is clean, because they are going to use the water that you are providing to cook food for you. So if you bring bad water and they use it to cook, you'll be affected. Definitely we have waterborne disease. It's not rampant.
The caterers say they do not know that bringing firewood and water was part of their duties.
I
do not know the details of the contract. I was asked to cook for the pupils.
It would be recalled that 6 months ago, TV3 Mission reported on a similar situation at the Mbrowa DA Primary School, also in the Kwandai district, and this was the reaction of District Education Director.
That should not be the practice, because children are not supposed to bring firewood, because if you are the caterer, it behoves on you to bring firewood to prepare meals for the children. I myself will go there, find out from whom the caterer is, and then talk to the caterer to change the attitude of asking school children to bring firewood and then fetching water for their meals to be prepared. If he doesn't change, then I will be compelled to report it to the district assembly so that together we take action.
Since then, there's not been any supervision. In the case of the Blajai DA Basic School, much is required to be done because the school also lacks furniture and has had portions of its roof perforated. The situation, teachers say, impacts on the school's performance.
Right, so that's our mission for tonight, supported by Star Ghana with funding from Danida UK Aid and the European Union. We return with sports with Yalfa Sulabi. Stay with us.
You're on News 360, and let's stay with the news now and what is coming from Gomua Fete, where the NDC is holding its National 9th Delegates Conference. There's an indication that George Opare Ado has won the National Youth Organizer position. Hannah Bisu is also on course to win the Women's Organizer position. Let's go over to our correspondent, Winston Amwa. Winston, good evening once again. Can you confirm what we have just told our viewers and listeners?
It's a good evening again. I can confirm that Hannah Bisu has won. And I can also say that the deputies would be Mamefwa Sechi and Abigail Elomensa. I have seen supporters of Pareado jubilating. Now, they are saying that from all indications, their candidate is going to win. Now, the issue here is they say based on their permutations and based on their sortings, George Pareado is going to win. In fact, you hear people say that George Pareado has won. But we're waiting for the counting to be done. But when it comes to the women organizer, the counting has been done, and we know that Hannah Bisu has won, with Mamefwa Sechiado and Ella Abigail Mensah as her deputy. My checks also indicate that when it comes to the deputy youth organizer position, it is between Edem Agbana and Ruth, and so they now would decide. They now would decide who would become the first deputy and the second deputy. In fact, it's between Adam Agbana and Abigail Mensah. Ruth is the women organizer. So that's where we are now. And I'm just waiting patiently.
Thank you very much, Winston, with that update from Gomua Fete. Winston says Hannah Bisu has won the women's organizer, and it looks as if George Oparado is also on course because his supporters are jubilating wildly. Coming up next, the international news for tonight.
And there are multiple casualties at a synagogue in the U.S. city of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, after a gunman opened fire during a service on Saturday. Police have not said how many people died at the Tree of Life synagogue, but 4 officers were among the wounded. The suspect has not been officially identified, but U.S. media have named him as Robert Bowers. Let's do some entertainment news now.
Right, entertainment tonight. 2 major concerts would take place tonight. As Stoneboy headlines the Ashaiman to the World concert, Shatawale will thrill patrons at the much-hyped BF Suma concert. Usu Rai brings us more.
The Fantasy Dome inside Trade Fair will come alive as the finest of showstoppers have been lined up to headline the much-anticipated BF Suma concert. The show is expected to draw 20,000 show enthusiasts to the venue. Leading the pack is Ghana's dancehall star and hitmaker Shatawale. The musical superstar has vowed to treat the crowd to an unforgettable music experience. And coming all the way from Nigeria, top music stars Olamide and Tiwa Savage will add to the excitement. The president of BF Suma, Justin Ujia, is in Ghana ahead of the concert.
I just know that from my colleagues, they have sent all these stars invited to this music concert. They're very shining stars and well recognized by all the Ghana people and also even the Nigerian people. They really like this big guys. So I think That will be a great success for the music concert and will bring a lot of people a confidence. Wow, BF Suma.
Other supporting performers include Wendy Shea, Kwame Eugene, Miss V, Dope Nation.
They come mash up the yard, front, left, center. If you lose guard, you know it's Dope Nation in the building. Ish.
The 2018 edition of the much-hyped event is expected to attract thousands of music lovers to the Sakasaka Park, where the event holds annually. This year's event promises to be fun and full of surprises. Shatawale performed at the 2017 edition of the concert after he surprised Tomboy on stage.
And don't forget, also one of the biggest events this weekend is the GJA Awards Night. And at TV3 here, we are expecting Stanley Niblewu, Portia Gabo, and Peter Kwada to pick up some awards, and we wish them all the best.
Right, so I'll be giving you more details to that. But that's it for News 360 tonight with me, Nanekia Mensa Brampa.
And Issa Moni, thank you for watching News 360. Remember, there will be more updates on tradenews.com.
Good evening.